These demons,
Oh, yeah.
they'll give you visions to reinforce a lie. And the
Sure.
Bible says doctrines of demons and devils in the last days.
Mm-hmm.
Ask Muhammad. Somebody gave him some visions to reinforce that bullcrap religion of Islam. Okay. And all these other false religions, talking goats and stuff like that. Guy put a bag over his head, went to a trance. I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah.
We'll follow something like that,
Oh, man.
Last week's uptime with Robert Break, that was a great uptime because we really covered the blood of Christ. There was so much covering and understanding of the blood of Christ. Like those people out there that are trusting in other things to get saved. I always go back to that. My experience was with my stepdad, where he was on his deathbed. Didn't want to hear what I had to say. He was holding on to that scapular of his and trusting in that scapular, knowing about Jesus. That's what Robert Brake was talking about. They know of Jesus. Okay. Yeah, they know of Jesus, just like Apostle Paul said, they have a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof in such eternal way. Form of godliness. He seemed like a pretty godly man, but I mean, he got so angry with me while I'm trying to share the gospel. I just wanted to go through 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4 with him again. That it's almost like he just started. I mean, he pepped up real nicely, started yelling at me, on his deathbed. And for those of you who have never heard me talk about that before, he was dying of lung cancer. Here's a picture of him with my mom during Christmas of 2022, right before he died. And he was a big time, he was a Catholic. And he was also the guy that paraded around that Weeping Madonna statue of Mary around the Western nations. They had one in the West, one in the East. And this statue did miracles, and it bled, it moved, it looked at people, it said, there's like a supernatural statue. And he's probably seen a lot of the news. You can Google it. You'll see a picture with him in the statue and all stuff like that. That thing was like in my house. That thing was in and out of my house when I was still living there with my mom before I got married. So that thing was in my living room when he wasn't on tour with that thing. So I sit there and looked at that thing. I'm like, it's just not right, man. It's just not right. And here's something to think about. His ministry, work with my mom in this statue, that came out of my mom's house. But sometimes I wonder, did God counter that ministry with my ministry, me, who also came out of this same house? Their ministry was a global ministry. My ministry also is a global ministry. My ministry, which is Feed My Sheep Today, and End Time Dream and Vision, which actually teaches the truth. We are saved by grace through faith. 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4, heaven is a gift, which is actually getting people saved, not trusting in Mary and praying to statues and undoing all the damage that this statue has caused globally. Out of my mom's house, this global ministry was ran. And now from that same house, I have a global ministry that's undoing all the damage that their ministry caused. Because I'm noticing now, all the areas where the statue went are all the same areas where Feed My Sheep Today is operating in. God used Feed My Sheep Today to do damage control wherever the statue went. Because according to our missionaries, we are running into countless people who believe in Mary for their salvation and who have prayed and worshiped this very same statue. Was my ministry a counter ministry, a counter move that God did with me going against my mother and my stepfather? I always thought about that. And here's another thing. He used to make all these scapulars, necklaces. And where did these things come from? Well, supposedly back in the 1200s, an apparition they believed to be Mary, probably the same one that appeared in Fatima and Garen Bendel, which we all know this was Satan. Be it as it may, this apparition appeared holding the baby Jesus, giving him instructions about the scapular. Now, right there, you got to think to yourself, first of all, Jesus, he's not a baby anymore. He was a baby over 2,000 years ago, but some people ignorantly say, oh, that's spiritual Jesus. That's his spirit. That's ridiculous. Doesn't make sense. The spirit of Jesus was a baby over 2,000 years ago when he was born. And over the course of 33 years, he went from being a spiritual baby to a spiritual full-grown man. And as his spirit grew, his earthly vessel, his temple, his body grew right along with it. And now 1,200 years later, you have this apparition appearing with this spiritual baby boy. Who is a spiritual baby boy? Did Jesus revert back to a child spiritually? Of course not. So who was this spiritual baby boy? It wasn't Jesus, and this certainly wasn't Mary. So moving on, these spiritual entities showed up to this false prophet named Simon Stock, who was a Catholic monk and soon to be a false prophet because of the message he was about to bring forth from this whole experience. And just to point one thing out, it's interesting how Satan chose a man named Simon. Of course, we have Jesus who chose Simon, who became Peter, the head of the 12 apostles. Satan is always trying to copy God. So this apparition appears to this guy named Simon Stock, and he was instructed to take this message to his king. And he was told, hey, if everybody wears this scapular that goes into battle, Mary will protect them and give them victory over their enemies. And if anybody happens to die, Mary will come and pull them out of purgatory on the very first Saturday after their death. Basically, it was used as a recruitment tool to encourage a very weak and timid army. And then after that, it kind of just stuck and grew from there. And of course, we all know that these scapulars will not save you. They're a load of crap. But my stepdad, like I said, on his deathbed, he told me off. He refused to listen to what I had to say to him. And he held that scapular tight and prayed to Mary the entire time, one Hail Mary after another. And usually with believers who are on their deathbed, who are dying slowly, especially within the last few hours or days, they will begin to see other believers who have gone on before them coming down to visit them and gathering in the room before they died. And when he was about to die, knowing this, we were asking him if he saw anybody, and he said he saw nobody. He never saw a single person. So, yeah.
Be it as it may, he made these things in mass. I mean, he had a machine that he built this machine. It was like a spun with a wheel and all stuff like that. And he made these things in mass in my mom's basement.
He has preached the concept of these things and has handed them out to millions of people, misleading them all to hell globally throughout the whole scope of his ministry. So when I saw that machine in my mom's garage that mass-produced all these scapulars,
me with pleasure, I threw that thing in the trash. I broke that thing and threw it in the trash after he died when I cleaned out that garage. Okay. But when he was on his deathbed, he was holding on to the thing. He was believing it. Oh, Mary's going to come and get me. I was like, where's Jesus and all this, you know?
Right. Where's
And in
Jesus?
the meantime, my mom's like, you know, I don't know what's going on, but there's like the devil's in my basement. There's such a demonic presence in my basement. I was like, I wonder why they're hanging out here for. I was like, they're waiting to collect. They're coming up. They're going to come racing up those stairs like a bunch of hellhounds when he dies, and you know, take him away. That's why they're waiting there. Why else would they be waiting there for? Right before he's about to die,
right?
And then it gets worse. You know what happened? After that, my mom had a vision. She had her head on the table after my stepdad died, and she had her head on the table, real tight, looked up. And when she opened her eyes, first of all, she felt like someone's two hands touched her shoulders. Okay,
Wow.
woke her up. So she woke up, and when she looked up, she saw 10 scapulars floating in the air in front of her. 10 of them. I'm like, 10 kings? Just saying. So I was like, 10 scapulars floating. And my mom's like, that's when I knew I need to keep making those scapulars. I had to keep moving those scapulars. I'm like, you know, these demons. They'll give you visions to reinforce a lie. And the
Sure.
Bible says doctrines of demons and devils in the last days.
Mm-hmm.
Ask Muhammad. Somebody gave him some visions to reinforce that bull crap religion of Islam. Okay. And all these other false religions, talking goats and stuff like that. Guy put a bag over his head, went into a trance. I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah.
We'll follow something like that. You know.
Oh man.
Hey friends, are you looking to share the gospel with as many people as possible, but you're really struggling in this area? Are you that person who really wants to make your mark here on the earth for the Lord while you're still here? If that's you, then my friend, you need to listen up. We have been doing Christian missions now for almost 10 years, and we have built an incredible infrastructure of missionaries, teachers, and evangelists, pastors, and people assisting them who are preaching the gospel of grace to new believers and are moving all the humanitarian relief aid and free Bibles and everything as they continue to preach this gospel of grace throughout third world countries. As you can tell, everything is in place. You don't have to do a single thing except provide the seed. And just let me explain what we do. We go into these areas of people who have never heard the gospel before, and I'm talking about areas that are hard to reach, remote areas, villages, and jungles, areas outside of the cities that society has forgotten about and forsaken. We reach these areas and we provide food, blankets, clothing, hygiene products, humanitarian relief aid of all sorts, depending on what's needed. And once we get everybody up to speed with what they need, I'll tell you what, that changes the tune of a lot of people in these places. When you provide aid to them, they are very willing to listen to your message that will follow it. And from this, we have been seeing countless numbers of people coming to the saving grace of Jesus Christ. And for these people, we give them their own free Bible in their own native language that our missionaries purchase locally in their countries, or a King James for all the English readers. And from this point, we continue to teach them, lead them, and guide them moving forward. Are you ready to make a difference in God's kingdom today? React right now to that pull in your spirit. Stop what you're doing. Go to our website, feedmysheeptoday.org. The link is below. There you can give by PayPal, credit card, bank draft, or just send your gift in the mail. Do you want to make a big impact right now but can't afford to do so? I got a simple answer for you. Just become a monthly sustainer. We greatly need more monthly sustainers. And the great benefit about this position is you can set it and forget it. Now this whole thing is working on your behalf and you can focus on other things in the kingdom. Your seed will automatically be invested into God's kingdom on a monthly basis. How many new believers can you say that you were responsible for leading to the Lord last year and giving a free Bible to? How would you like to be responsible for 36 new salvations this year and also give them a free Bible? Well, you can do that with simply $10 a month. So that's there for you. Please consider joining our Easy Feed monthly sustainer family. We would be so happy to welcome you in. So friends, all the links are in the description box below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Feed My Sheep Today. It's also our backup channel, by the way. There you'll be able to keep track of your investment in this great work. Thank you all so much for your much needed support. May God bless you all. And friends, don't forget to request your free After the Rapture Survival Info Flash Drive today. Free flash drive, free shipping, our gift to you. On this flash drive, there are 7 gigabytes of information that will be very helpful to all your friends and family who will be left behind, starting with the King James Bible, Children's Bible, plus 80 Bibles in other languages that are the most common after English. On this flash drive are also ebooks, letters, sermons, videos, news articles, articles written by believers explaining why mass amounts of people have disappeared and what's next, and much, much more. There's even a section called ABC Salvation, which is a quick introduction that people can read where they can quickly learn about who Jesus Christ really is and a condensed version of the good news of the gospel that was achieved by his finished works at the cross, and how they can be saved through him and him alone. These letters are also provided in 80 different languages, most popular after English. All this and much more is available on this flash drive that we could send to you for free. Just email us your request, and that information is in the description box below, or just go to our website, edvforme.org, and download the entire thing for free. They are separated into 4 easy downloadable folders you can download and save to any device. Copy and paste this information to your friends and family's computers and devices. Put them on other flash drives and hand them out. This is an excellent way to get the information out to everybody we know, so that way they are prepared if they are left behind. Information about this is all in the description box below.